Boosie is in hot water with the feds. Him and J. Prince Jr. Mob ties.
When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to rob him and kill the dude. What the hell, my 19-year-old cousin gonna try to rob and kill somebody? Bro, we getting money, man.
Federal investigators are looking into Boosie for supposedly orchestrating Duke the Jeweler's murder by luring him to a fixed dice game with J. Prince Jr. in Houston. But hold up, let me walk you through how this entire scheme unfolded. This is going to leave you stunned. And listen, before we dive into this insane situation, go ahead and smash that like button and hit subscribe, because this content is going to be intense. For real, this involves deep street politics that fly under most people's radar. We're discussing organized criminal activity masked as hip-hop culture, straight up. Now, let me tell you who Duke the Jeweler actually was, because dude was far more than just another Chicago jeweler. Duke was legitimately among the Midwest's most prestigious jewelers. We're discussing someone who earned his status through hard work, serving clients ranging from up-and-coming rappers to professional athletes. Duke receives a phone call from Boosie requesting a custom jewelry commission. Duke had experience with rapper clients, but Boosie represented something bigger. We're discussing a Louisiana icon with authentic street credentials. Getting a business call from Boosie is the kind of opportunity that could elevate your entire jewelry enterprise. Here's where things become questionable, though. Boosie insisted Duke travel to Houston rather than conducting business in Chicago or Louisiana. He mentioned this massive Labor Day weekend gathering, describing it like numerous celebrities would attend looking for custom jewelry. Boosie created this vision of Duke networking and securing several major commissions. What's wild is, Duke was genuinely enthusiastic about the trip. He shared updates on social media about the Houston visit and the business prospects ahead. This guy was completely unaware he was heading directly into a trap that would end his life. Now let me reveal J. Prince Jr.'s entire scheme, because this goes much deeper than most understand. Listen, J. Prince Jr. has been executing this identical con for years, and it's so methodical, it's genuinely disturbing. This guy has perfected the robbery of successful individuals into a science. Real talk. Here's the complete breakdown of how this operation functions. Initially, J. Prince Jr. selects his marks, typically visiting rappers, athletes, or prosperous business people arriving in Houston. He leverages his industry relationships to discover who's traveling to the city, their financial status, and what valuables they're carrying. Next is the contact phase. J. Prince Jr. doesn't simply ambush people. That's low-level stuff. He presents himself as a Houston street icon eager to welcome out-of-towners. He'll message you online, arrange mutual acquaintances for introductions, whatever's necessary to appear trustworthy. After establishing their comfort level, the actual scheme kicks in. He'll tour them around Houston, showcase the city, connect them with his associates. He creates this atmosphere like they're joining an elite circle, when truthfully, he's just establishing trust before the betrayal. The strategy was straightforward. Allow Duke some initial wins to boost his confidence, then deploy the loaded dice to drain his bankroll. They needed him comfortable wagering substantial amounts before completely emptying his pockets and shipping him home to Chicago. However, their scheme hit a snag. Word on the street is Duke somehow ended up with legitimate dice rather than the rigged ones. Perhaps someone mixed them up, perhaps the switch happened accidentally. Regardless of what occurred, Duke began winning with honest dice. Duke walked away with over $645,000 that evening. That's completely ridiculous. He dominated the table, collecting cash from everyone present, including some extremely dangerous individuals unaccustomed to losing their own cash. The atmosphere grew increasingly tense as Duke's winning streak continued. These guys were furious because their own hustle was blowing up in their faces. They had rigged tables and weighted dice, yet none of it mattered when Duke rolled with legitimate dice. Boosie positioned himself directly behind Duke throughout the entire session, and observers caught him repeatedly whistling. Initially, people assumed he was just messing around, but it later became clear those whistles served as coded signals. He was relaying messages to others in the space, likely coordinating their response to the unfolding situation. The remarkable thing is Duke maintained a gracious attitude the whole time. Despite raking in all that cash, he never acted arrogant or flaunted his success in their faces. Yet his victories ultimately sealed his fate. Once Duke swept the table at the dice game, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. These guys transformed from hospitable hosts to stone-cold predators in an instant. There was zero chance they'd allow some visiting jeweler to leave town with over $500,000 of their cash. Straight up. Based on eyewitness accounts and street talk, a full deliberation took place once the game concluded. Boosie, J. Prince Jr., and their associates assembled to strategize reclaiming their losses. This wasn't an impulsive reaction. This was a premeditated assassination scheme. Knowing Duke planned to attend Boosie's show the following evening gave them the window to orchestrate everything. They tracked his patterns, identified his accommodations, and engineered the ideal attack. These guys approached murder like a corporate operation. They deployed multiple surveillance to monitor Duke's activities all day. When they cornered Duke in that parking structure, he refused to go down easily. Duke attempted to protect himself, but the numbers and firepower were against him. The assailants arrived equipped for combat, while Duke was simply attempting to reach his vehicle and return to his lodging. The assault happened swiftly and savagely. They riddled Duke with bullets, seized all his winnings from the game along with his jewelry collection, then vanished into the darkness. This is when Boosie's award-deserving act commences. Immediately following Duke's assassination, Boosie shifts into complete performance mode. This guy produces not just one, but several recordings attempting to separate himself from the incident. He appears on camera expressing his sorrow, praising Duke's character, and claiming this kind of brutality contradicts his style.
Some dudes tried to rob him. See some dudes that tried to rob me and walked off by himself.
Boosie also attempted to portray Duke as having lost cash at the dice game, when everybody's aware Duke scored massive that evening. He claimed Duke wasn't bothered by his losses. But how could someone be upset about losing when they actually pocketed over $600,000? The fabrications are completely illogical. What if I revealed that Boosie's account of the post-concert events continuously shifts? That's genuinely sketchy as hell. Initially, he claimed Duke departed solo. Later, he mentioned Duke had companions. Then the narrative shifted yet again. Honest people maintain consistent story. The most repulsive aspect of Boosie's charade was his attempt to exploit Duke's murder for self-victimization. He discussed online accusations against him, complaints about unfair treatment, and how everything was impacting his psychological well-being. Dude, someone's life was taken, and you're focused on your public image online.
Y'all got us all the way up, man. We met that dude, Duke the jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to rob him and killed the dude. What the hell my 19-year-old cousin gonna try to rob and kill somebody? Bro, we getting money, man. We get fucking money. That ain't our stilo. As a boss, I ain't letting that go down like that, man. This dude finna make me a piece. So y'all need to kill that. That's bad low, man. Don't put us in nothing with no bad low. It's bad low, man.
The phony emotion displayed in those recordings was so transparent, it only heightened suspicion. Authentic mourning doesn't resemble a staged act. Boosie was obviously putting on a show for the lens. His excessive efforts to appear blameless actually made him seem culpable as hell. Supporters uncovered footage showing Boosie's nephew exiting the venue moments before Duke was gunned down. That's absolutely wild. They compiled security recordings, online posts, and eyewitness testimonies to construct a timeline revealing precisely how the killing unfolded. The online sleuths also uncovered that
Duke's Louis Vuitton bag containing his jewelry was located at Boosie's residence.
Like, how do you justify that? Boosie's explanation was Duke requested he safeguarded during the game, but following Duke's assassination, why wasn't that bag returned to his relatives? Why was it casually placed at Boosie's place like it was his property? Online users also began linking this incident to other questionable situations involving J. Prince Jr. and his associates. They identified recurring themes of visiting artists being robbed or murdered following dice games in Houston. This wasn't an isolated incident. This was component of a larger scheme, and this is where Boosie revealed his authentic character. After the internet essentially cracked the entire case and revealed all the proof, Boosie's entire attitude transformed dramatically. Rather than maintaining the mourning companion act, this guy became furious that people uncovered what actually transpired. And listen, that response revealed
everything we needed to understand about his culpability. Boosie began creating hostile recordings labeling people online investigators and armchair critics. He was infuriated that supporters were piecing together clues and revealing the reality. But dude, if you're genuinely blameless, why are you angry at people attempting to secure justice for Duke? That's genuinely insane conduct right there. A blameless individual would encourage people to investigate and locate the actual perpetrators. A blameless individual would appreciate that people value Duke enough to pursue the facts. But Boosie was more focused on self-preservation than obtaining justice for Duke. Boosie also began attempting to undermine the proof that supporters had uncovered. He would create recordings attempting to rationalize the call logs, the physical evidence, the eyewitness testimony, but his justifications were never coherent. When you must work that intensely to dismiss proof, it typically indicates guilt.
The reality that Boosie devoted more energy criticizing people pursuing justice than he did grieving Duke's passing revealed everyone what his genuine concerns were. He valued his public standing more than he valued a murdered individual. And listen, even Boosie's own relatives began opposing him. Here's where the narrative becomes even more unbelievable. Boosie's own sibling, TQ, stepped forward claiming he possesses documentation proving Duke was betrayed. When your own family member accuses you of homicide, you understand the circumstances are severe, straight up. TQ and Boosie have been feuding for years regarding finances and professional arrangements. Based on legal filings, TQ supposedly embezzled over $360,000 from Boosie's account and assisted one of Boosie's artists in signing with a competing label secretly. However, the Duke circumstances prompted TQ to vocalize in an unprecedented manner. He began suggesting on social platforms that he understood the authentic narrative about what transpired with Duke and that Boosie wasn't as blameless as he was claiming. TQ stated he possessed proof that could reveal the entire conspiracy.
You think niggas wake up and just choose Boosie to steal from? You don't think there's better people to steal from? Like, it's not fucking happening. Boosie is not a victim, dog. Like, that nigga ain't no... Boosie is a fucking villain.
This is where the narrative becomes completely insane. Some individuals believe the Duke incident is linked to what occurred with Takeoff from Migos. Both scenarios involve gambling sessions in Houston, both connected to J. Prince Jr.'s circle, and both concluded with accomplished young individuals losing their lives over cash and valuables. The similarities are too striking to dismiss, honestly. Promising successful artists arrive in Houston, receive invitations to these elite gambling sessions. Complications arise regarding finances or disrespect, and they wind up murdered. That's not coincidental. That's a recurring pattern of predatory conduct.